Yeah, we get started. We're kind of running a tight schedule, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Paul. I work at Intercom. Been here a long time since
12
the very
years.
beginning. 12 years.
Yeah, when there were 12 people.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, yeah. It's been quite the journey.
Yeah.
And Varun?
I'm Varun. I'm one of the co-founders of Clay, and also been here for a long time, but not as long as 12 years. Yeah, really excited to be here with you guys. We're
Oh, we're in the wrong
no,
seats.
but it's good to confuse you. It's good to
It's
keep you guessing.
collaboration.
It's good to be exactly.
Yeah.
Excited to be here with you guys. We're launching into Europe right now, so we're spending a lot of time and energy kind of entering the market, opening up our office, and meeting a lot of customers and prospects. And really excited to kind of jam. And this is a very cozy room, and so we want this to feel very interactive and casual and intimate. So just engage.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question to get us started?
Let's go.
One thing about Varun and I, neither of us have backgrounds in marketing. So
That's
I'm
right.
a designer and then ran product Intercom. Technically still the chief product officer. I now run large parts of marketing most of the time, but I'm not from a marketing background. And you started your life in politics?
Politics, yeah.
Yeah.
In politics.
And both of us have very strong opinions about the future of marketing.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we don't come from marketing frees us to...
Yeah. And I actually hire a lot of people on our marketing team who don't come from marketing backgrounds.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, it's not that I go about it go do that intentionally for the reason. It's just that so I lead all the business teams at Clay, and of all the business teams, half the people are doing their jobs for the first time, and so some of the marketers are really. Basically, marketing is a skill set that you can have in really any function. So I'll give a very extreme example that can kind of show this. So in politics, there's a lot of people who demonstrate marketing, but it's not called marketing. So there's someone on our team named Jessica who comes up with a lot of our wacky ideas. She's a political organizer. When she was a student, she organized a protest in the state of Texas called Cox Not Glocks, where basically Texas had a concealed carry law where you could have guns publicly, but you couldn't have sex toys publicly. So she organized these protests where people were carrying dildos, yelling Cox Not Glocks.
That's good marketing.
Yeah, so it's really good marketing, and that's my point. The point is that that's actually great marketing.
Yeah.
And she's never been a marketer before, but she comes up with the best ideas that we do. It's approaching with a different mindset and bringing that to B2B marketing, which, as you know, is, my God, the most boring marketing on earth.
Yeah. What's the most interesting marketing on earth?
It's usually consumer marketing is usually where it's at. That's where things are more edgy and more interesting. And actually, the reason for that is, if I were to guess, if you're doing consumer marketing, how are you growing as a business? You're growing on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right? You're competing against people's attention share on those platforms, which is hard to come by because you're competing against a girl dancing in a really ridiculous way or something, and people probably want to watch that instead of your ad.
Yeah.
And so you have to be really cutting edge. In B2B marketing, people are they're getting their news on this B2B newsletter or on Gartner or whatever. But really, they're also on TikTok, because they're just humans. And so how do you kind of approach it with that mindset? And that's... And I think there's a lot of consumer grade practices that you can bring to B2B.
Yeah, I think B2B marketing is changing quite a lot. Yeah. We are investing big in video, for example. It's really a consumer trend. Yeah. I think B2B marketing is becoming much more like consumer marketing. Yes. Over time.
That's where the alpha is.
Yeah.
We're even doing these videos, which are not intended as a big strategy, but have now resonated a lot. I do with my CFO, that we've been doing these videos over the last few weeks, where it's hey. I want to take 5 prospects to the Super Bowl and it'll cost $60,000. Should we do it? And we discuss it. Or, hey, how do we think about the ROI on performance and brand marketing? And we discuss it. And those videos are really, really getting a lot of traction and resonating in a deep way because it feels authentic and raw. And that's now marketing. And actually really high quality marketers are engaging on it because it doesn't feel like we're selling clay, but people are talking about it and we're capturing mind share.
Yeah. It's actually fascinating. I really find it hard to persuade people who've worked in marketing all their career that this is the way forward. I think they're used they're used to polishing things, used to making things really, really well crafted, careful, deliberate.
And in some parts of brand you need that though.
Oh, you do for sure, but I think just AI is this technology that is a black box to most people, and so credibility becomes really important. And I think people want to know who are the people behind the product.
It makes authenticity way more important.
Yeah.
Like so, like last week we did a video, recorded a video of us like ice dipping in Helsinki, and we just posted that. You know, they did blur out the nipples, which then became like a meme on its own. But it was like me and like the founder of Dust and like the founder of Google Maps, and we were just like in a sauna, and then we were like, let's go ice dipping, and then Tess, my assistant, who's somewhere here, right over there, and she caught it on camera, and then like we like posted it, and it like. That was really cool. And like, but it's like authentic and raw, and like people want to see that because in the age of AI, like a lot of things on LinkedIn are just kind of like slop. Yeah. And so when you're not that and far from that, it really stands out.
Help me and us tie all these things together. So like you jumped into the cold finish water, but Clay doesn't sell things straight as cold finish water. So what are you doing? You're like building your personal brand, helping people get to know you, trust you, by extension, the product.
Basically, all of this would imply that, hey, there's a strategy and a thesis, and here's what we're going to go try and do, and here are some ROI and metrics that are going to make sense of it, and like let's go do that, right? That is not really how we do marketing, or generally how I do most things. Like I'm pretty disorganized, I would say, as a human, and like I try to surround like Karan, our finance leader. He's the one who like takes notes and is like has a plan and is organized. My value add is like different things, and I think like so on marketing, the point here is it's not like I had this strategy and was like let's go execute this. It was really I just started posting on LinkedIn because I started saying things in meetings, and I was like, oh, maybe other people like actually the people in the meetings were like this could be useful. So like for example, I was talking to a person on my team. She came up to me and was like, hey, I want to become COO. How do I do that? And we had this like long conversation. She came up to me later, was like, that was so formative, so helpful, and other people could benefit. And I was like, oh, well, why don't we post that on LinkedIn? And so we posted on LinkedIn, and it really resonated. Or like I explained how I think about recruiting to our recruiting team. They were like, wow, that's amazing. And then they were like, let's post it. So that just started happening. One time our team wanted to do like a product launch on signals, which was, again, boring. It's like web intent de-anonymization. And it's like, how do you spice that up? Well, one way is you dress up as a Jedi. Another way is you, like I just got really hyped about it in a video, and it like resonated. So I was like, wow, something's happening here. What if I just did this more, you know? Yeah. And then we're just now, and now I hired someone as a contractor to help me like a thought partner and think about these things and just like hold me accountable mostly. And now we're just seeing that as I do it, it's working really well. And as I do more, I come up with more and more ideas actually that's unexpected. And your original thing is like, okay, so what is the ROI? How do you think about all these things? Like, is it personal? Yes. Is it personal brand? Yes. Is it company brand? Yes. Is there like, it's actually all of the above. But it's not, I'm not doing it for these like goals. I'm doing it because it feels right. It's clear that something is happening. The anecdotal evidence is insurmountable. And then, and we're even seeing it like immediately thereafter. It's like a CRO will just message me and be like, hey, I saw your videos, amazing. Or like someone will message our prospect, hey, I saw Varun's video, reminded me about Clay. Should we do something? You know, and it's like, these are things that are hard to enumerate, but it like that's also marketing.
Yeah. Do you? One thing I've kind of, I guess, come to realize over the last while, when I took over marketing 6 months ago. I mean, I've always worked with marketing.
Why did you take over marketing?
Oh, how long have you got?
I think we have 35 minutes. So.
Yeah. The kind of short version is, for the longest time, we distributed marketing. We were marketing leader left a few years ago. Then we kind of broke up marketing into like its different constituents. I took on PMM, took on web.
PMM is a complete mystery to me. If you'd like to take it on for Clay too, that'll be nice.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I was going to get to. So, long story short, I built this thesis for like new way marketing, marketing's changing, SaaS marketing, the marketing for the last decade is not going to work anymore. Some things that we're talking about, personal brands, video, and so on, raw, scrappy, authentic, not polished. Anyway, I'm through all of my like thinking and deliberating and talking to the executive Intercom, found myself in the job of running the marketing team. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's fantastic. It's fun. But I've realized, as I kind of got into the weeds of it a lot more than I was in the past. And speaking of product marketing, I looked at like all the things we were doing. The org was highly specialized. People were like very, very narrow in what they did. And I think as companies scale in marketing orgs, specialists hire more specialists, kind of building these kind of big teams. But one observation I had was the kind of skills I was valuing in people were common. So like a product marketer, a content marketer, someone working on advocacy, building customer stories, like all the skills are the same. You know, the Venn diagram is a huge overlap. And so we started talking about like, maybe these are actually the same job. You know, because if you had a tiny company, you'd probably just have one person do all of it. So we kind of come up with this idea of like a full stack marketer. someone who's just like doing all of it. And there's some specialism still, like sales enablement, perhaps. You got to understand the sales.
So you just have like a bunch of full stack marketers doing everything.
We're kind of working towards that,
And each one is like dedicated to a certain team or product or something.
Yeah, right now it's kind of a fluid pool, and we don't have enough. So people are moving around. Some of the people here are PMMs at Intercom, aka full stack marketers, I guess.
It is a little tricky when you hire the specialist on marketing, because that definitionally means you're like reverting to a mean, because you're like narrowing, and marketing is about like standing out, and that's hard when you are like how do you inject that, right? And like and also, it's, by the way, it's hard to bring in non-traditional profiles at the scale of a company like Intercom, because the stakes are higher, the risks are greater, and you need more consensus to do it, and it's hard to do non-consensus things with people who need consensus. Yeah. And so it's like, so it's harder unless someone like you was like, no, we're just going to do this.
I mean, that's what happened. Like I have the license to do it. I was there from the very beginning, so I can decide, hey, we're just going to, what I actually said to people was, when I took over, I said, I'm blowing the entire thing up. Yeah. You got to go too far to know where the boundary is. So if you go too far, like things can grow back. So for example, we removed the kind of silos between teams. We deleted our marketing calendar. We just like crazy, hyper complicated marketing calendar. I kind of knew we'll have to bring back a marketing calendar, but the only way to know how it should come back is to get rid of the first one. It evolved over like years.
What was the reaction of the team when you did that?
Well, you should ask some of them who are here. There's 2 or 3 of them in the room. It depends on the person. Some people love change, high energy for change. They kind of get the idea that like marketing's changing and TBD what the future looks like, but it certainly doesn't look like the present. And I'm here for it. I'm going to help build it. Like the skills and attributes. It's actually a lot of attributes I look for in people. Ambitious, hungry, hardworking, willing, love change, want to build the future. Like builders, people who like pride themselves on shipping. Like ultimately, things leaving the building is what they care about. So people who have that archetype, very, very enthusiastic, loved it. We've done all sorts of cool stuff. Like these meetups started 6 months ago. For people just with that energy, like, hey, what if we try new stuff? Right. Other people are averse to it. Humans are change averse. Some are kind of like on the journey, have made the transition. And then some left, like we parted ways. Yeah. It wasn't for them. They weren't for us. Maybe 20, 30%. Wow. Yeah. So, and then we're hiring. PS, we're hiring. Yeah. Open roles, leaders roles, and so on.
So are we.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it went down. It's a work in progress. It's very much a work in progress. But I do think you're right. Like, I had the license to do it. Yeah. Like at the company from the start. I'd run the product team for the longest time, had the credibility. And yeah, it's a work in progress. Yeah. I guess you kind of have to say, I mean, you co-founder Clay, you got to decide too what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're very like there are a lot of things that we kind of irrationally did because it matters to us. Like brand is something that matters to us a lot. We hired this, we have like a full-time artist in-house who just does claymation.
Oh yeah?
And he actually originally was a contractor for us, and he had the funniest like pricing model. Like he basically makes these blobs. Like there's like a purple blob or like an orange blob, and it's like, I mean, it's a very nice blob, just to be clear. But he would charge like an obscene amount of money for this blob. Like he would say, okay, it's like $3,000 for the blob, but you only get it for a year. You have to renew a year later. So it's like a SaaS business model on these blobs. But anyways, eventually he came on full time, and he's great. And but we were doing that when we had like no revenue, or like we had a brand of 15 people, or we had clay.com when we had no revenue. And but these are things we did because they're like authentic to us. Like we're just like, we want this. Like it's beautiful. It's who we are. That we're just not going to do a website unless it's gorgeous. And like that's so it's again, it's not like a rational kind of like thinking about it methodically. It's more just like, this is authentic. It's a thing that doesn't make sense if the business doesn't work. If the business does work, it ends up being a differentiator.
Yeah. Well, one thing I talk a lot to people about is great marketing is way easier when you're into the thing. Yeah. We had like a lot of people over many years at Intercom, people are just like just not into it. They're like, I'd ask them like, you excited about technology?
Passion really bleeds through. Yeah. Because few people are actually passionate. So if you're actually really excited and about things, that really carries through.
Yeah. So going back to the hiring thing, like you said, some lots of hires not marketing backgrounds. So what do you look for?
I mean, it depends on the role, right? Look, we have a standard marketing team in terms of the setup, right? So we have a head of marketing. He actually has a traditional background, which I tease him for. He was like actually for the longest time the only one who came from a traditional background on the marketing team. And then we have growth marketing, and we have product marketing and content marketing, or like narrative marketing, and like events and community and stuff like that. Product marketing is more traditional. Growth marketing is mostly just Clay users, basically. The leader actually comes from it comes from finance, and then did growth marketing at Verkada, and then now does growth marketing at Clay. But generally speaking, on growth, it's like the more technical you are, whether you're using tools like Clay or you're building tools or whatever, like that's actually where the alpha is and where people are doing the most creative stuff. And then product marketing is a new function for us, so we're going to see how this works. And then everything else mostly comes from a pretty non-traditional background, right? So, like our events are something that we hold really near and dear to us, and like always feel very creative and unique. And so, like usually you go to a Clay event and it feels like very special, and we spend a lot of time and energy and craft into doing that. And it was hard to kind of find the right person who embodied that. And so that's something. But I think it really just depends on what it is. Because it's like it's not like you're looking for something in particular. You're kind of trying to just understand who they are and like see how that can map, right? So like just as an example, like just in the last 2 weeks, we were going to hire for a social media role. Actually, we can take the social media person as Peter, who's great. But you would have never. Peter worked as an investment banking analyst at Barclays, and then was on the finance team at Clubhouse, the social media app, but also on the side had a TikTok about spreadsheets that had 200,000 followers. And he had never run social media before, but when I met him, I was like, no, you really should run social media at Clay. Because look, like how many finance people with that kind of mindset, that structured thinking, analytical mindset, also have the creative energy to run a spreadsheets TikTok with 200,000 followers, right? Like, and now he's like tremendously grown our LinkedIn channel, is like, and is a star. And it's obviously taking time because it was a new role for him. But like, it's like seeing that potential and understanding why that actually could give you unique alpha in that role than finding someone who has like just been doing social media for a while. Yeah, that's a random example.
That's a great example. Yeah. The thing, there's kind of two things what you said. One is he's doing it. There's a big difference between talking about things and actually doing them. And one of the things that again, in these kind of like philosophies I had about like new way marketing, what's like we're at the beginning of a new technology cycle, same as the internet, same as social, mobile. It's going to take a few years to pan out. So it's very technical. Yeah. Like at the beginning of the internet, no one knew anything about HTTP and websites and all that, HTML, like no one had a clue. And people learned, and we're at the same time now, it's very technical. So like to go back to the product marketing question, it's really important to me that the marketers, whether they're full stack marketer, content, whatever, the kind of T-shaped people, whatever leading they have, it's really important to me that they are technical. Yeah. That just means that they're into it. It doesn't mean that they're an engineer. Like I can't code. It means that they like building and they want to build, and they'll go and use all the tools, try new stuff out. They'll like make things no one in the team has ever seen before. They'll like, hey, check out this new tool. They'll share it in the channel. It's passion. And a lot of people end up kind of self-selecting out because they're not passionate about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point actually, and I don't think it's actually, I think, hard for us to find product marketers who represent that. Like, or maybe we're not looking in the right places. That's also possible. But I'm wondering if like we need to find like one person on our product marketing team. I think represents that, but she didn't come from product marketing, and she like actually came like we have a new grad rotational program in the support team, and we hire like bright young people who've just graduated college, and they do support, but then they also rotate to other functions, and so you become a product expert, right?
Yeah,
through that,
yeah.
And you learn the product deeply, and then you should kind of transition into product marketing. It's hard to balance that, so I think that's a good push.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that people who understand the product more deeply are better at explaining it to people. Right. Another big thing,
which is why one person we just hired for product marketing came from sales. Like she was a sales leader and then became a product marketer, which I thought was like an interesting transition.
Yeah, I mean she knows how to pitch the product, right, or how not to, or what happens,
and also what like sales teams need and want, like when you're doing sales enablement for them.
Yeah, one other thing, and maybe we'll open to your audience in a couple of minutes. One other thing that I've kind of again observed and kind of concluded. There's some phrase, I guess it's probably insulting to like half the room. Sorry if it is, but it's kind of the idea that marketers want to market. And so, like, people come to me, like, the goal is to explain the product and like, understand customers, understand the problems they have, the things they're trying to do better in their lives, explain why everything is good, better, connect people emotionally. And, I see work trying to explain the product or a new feature or something like that. And I asked them, like, is that how you'd explain it to someone, like, in the room? Yeah. Like, no, I'd never use those words. So why are you using the words externally? Like, the best words are the simple words. The best words are the words people understand, especially these days, because AI is such a black box. It's so confusing. It's overwhelming. It's intimidating to people. It's really important that people don't like add color. It makes it worse, and that makes.
This is why, by the way, we ask people, our marketers, to not use AI for writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of like it reverts it to the mean. That's what large language models do.
Yeah.
I think one thing we struggle with is like this balance between product marketing and brand marketing and and electric marketing, like kung fu fight scene videos and blunt rolling videos with our customers and stuff. Like I think we struggle sometimes with the calibration of it all. Like sometimes we like go super heavy into thought leadership, like coming up with GTM engineering or alpha or whatever, or like go heavy into the like crazy events, or go like all in on these videos. And I think we struggle with kind of like having something cohesive that feels like consistent.
Yeah, we struggle too internally, but it's actually different to you. We struggle between our demand gen team and our brand and product marketing team. They just were, it's like oil and water, different philosophies, and people are incentivized differently. Like over in our world, it's like
aren't they connected?
Oh, they're very connected. Yeah, but
like you need one to have the other.
Yeah, you do, and nowadays we're working much better together. We're collaborating more, but people think differently and work differently, and they're incentivized differently. So like over in our world, my goal for the most part with my teams is mind share. It's like win mind share in the market, get people to wear a fin, and do things like tonight.
How are you thinking about you operate also in a very hyper competitive market with like Decagon and Sierra, and they're also like it's an interesting setup because they are separate companies that are raising money every 3 months and dominating these news cycles.
Yeah.
Like how do you think about competitive marketing in that context?
Yeah, I mean we can't do what they're doing. Oh, we could, but we don't need to. And so
you have a massive customer base that you can cross sell.
Yeah, we do. But I think the big thing for us is we talk about Sierra a lot, talk about Decagon a lot. We know they talk about us too. Everyone's kind of trying to figure out what's different and unique. So we're asking ourselves like, what is different and unique about us? Like,
what is it?
We can't play the same game they do. Well, there's different things for sure. One is that we for the longest time thought that the Intercom brand was a bad thing for us.
Is that why it says Fin up here on Intercom?
And there's a different logo. Yeah. It doesn't say Intercom anywhere in this room, I don't think. Because we were like, we'll be booking it with Zendesk and these kind of legacy companies. But we were truly transforming internally into this deep AI company.
You're going to change the whole company name to Fin?
We talked about it. Yeah, we're not going to now, but we talked about it.
Why didn't you do it?
Because we had this really big, also growing business called Intercom, the kind of human support solution.
But why not just call it all Fin and be like it's AI powered and have that business go and then
we still might do that. It's not a closed question. We still might do that. What we found though was that people who were buying Fin wanted Intercom, and actually Intercom's turnaround story became this like positive thing. And so we're definitely like a different shape of company to like Sierra Decagon. But I think also just in for us a lot of it's about performance, the AI performance. Again, it's really hard to market this. It's so hard to market like infrastructure. Like we're typically like SaaS companies, you market like the product UI and the user experience, and like design was kind of the competitive edge a lot of people had. For us certainly like Intercom was like a well-designed product. Our backgrounds are in design, thing we really cared about. And now that matters less. It still matters, but really what matters is like the AI layer. Like is it better? Does it work? When people do evals of different parts of the product, which performs better, us, Sierra, Decagon, so, yeah.
Should we open up to the audience?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, there you
go. So I wanted to ask you a question to both of you. And first, maybe a question to you for Fin and Intercom. I've been struggling to tag Fin on LinkedIn for months. So Intercom is kind of dead in the mind now. I mean, it's being replaced by Fin to a certain extent. Why don't you have a LinkedIn account with Fin instead of Intercom? First question, and question to both of you: what were the marketing initiatives which had the best impact on your bottom line in terms of sales so far?
First of all, the pain you feel tagging Fin on LinkedIn, I also feel deeply. Oh my God, it's so hard. And the reason is like Fin is a page, it's not a company. And so like the mechanics, we could talk about LinkedIn UI, we won't. It's the same question like Varun is asking, like why not rename the company? There's a lot of brand value in Intercom still. It's not dead. Maybe to some people it's dead. Yeah, well, yeah, but it's funny. It's coming back, and like there's a lot of value in it, and so it's honestly a work in progress. We're unsure. Like as I'm answering the questions here, like we're unsure what to do with it. It's kind of uncharted territory. There's not for many companies who had a successful brand that kind of waned, then built a new product and a new brand, and built good mindshare for it, and then the other brand kind of had a resurgence.
Isn't there Handshake? They were doing like education, this or that, and then like they took on the scale AI data labeling business, and that's now like become a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean it's been done. You're right, and maybe we will rename the company Fin. We have talked about it, but there's a lot of we still think there's a lot of brand value in Intercom. Like if you go around trade shows and events, we do some booths you'll see Fin by Intercom. Sometimes it's like Fin by Intercom. Like it's a work in progress for sure. Yeah.
To answer the other question, I would just say. Actually, I would say our fundraising announcements have been the biggest boost. Now, less so as you get like to the $3 billion valuation and beyond. But when we did the 500, 1.25 specifically, and when we did like our tender, because like that was very new for companies at our stage, or like the community round, that's also very rare. Like things like that are very high, like almost unprecedented for companies at our scale. Those moved the needle dramatically, and we did I think a very good job at executing it. Like we had like the New York Times cover it, or like a very deep profile, and we had like hundreds of people post, and we sent like gifts to thousands of users. So it was like a very well orchestrated marketing campaign, and those moved they reset a new normal actually in the company's trajectory. I want to also just like open up the back so we're not like just asking the question right in front of us. Here, go ahead. Yeah, that's you. Yeah.
Paul, this is actually directed at you because I'll repeat. You wrote an article about the full stack marketer a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that you said is that generalists will get 80% of the way there, but they're able to get there faster, but there's still 20% missing. I suppose, what is that 20% that's still missing? And I guess what is requiring specialists still? And do you anticipate that? And I guess it's interesting as well because at Clay, you guys still have specialist functions in the marketing department. And I'd like to get your opinion on that. But obviously, with Clay, I know you're also having the specialists still involved in the team. So I want to first pick at the 20%.
Yeah.
It'd be great to get the thoughts on the specialists.
Yeah, just to be clear, like we still have specialists, and I value specialism. It's not, it's not like generalists are going to take over every single part of the company. Like sales enablement is a great example. Like I think I mentioned this earlier. Sales enablement, like understanding a sales culture, sales team, if you're a product marketer, is like that's like a big job, a huge undertaking. There's like media production, video. Like there's areas where I think specialism is very valuable. So it's not the case that like specialism is completely gone. There's definitely going to be specialists in parts. But I do think with AI tools, people can get a really good generalist. Again, they have to have the attributes. They love technology. They're passionate. They're builders. They're makers. They make stuff. They think by making. If you're that kind of person and you have like this plethora of AI tooling in front of you, you'll definitely get 80% there. And I think the last 20% is, it's kind of the AI slop thing too. Like the last 20% is getting something that's like passable to great. And that takes judgment. Like people talk about taste these days a lot, and it's kind of a tricky thing to talk about because it's really hard to pin down. But for me, taste is judgment, and it comes from like observation of a specific domain. So, for example, like I think I have great taste in some things. There's other areas I don't have a clue, like cowboy hats. I don't know what's a cool cowboy hat. I don't know, like all different types of cowboy hats. Right? I haven't, no idea. Or like food, who's got really good taste when it comes to food? People who eat a lot of really good food and can tell the difference between great food and good food. So I think that taste comes from people who, again, are really into it. They love advertising. They love ads. They watch Mad Men over and over again. Like they love this stuff. They love marketing. They love watching old marketing. They love trying to find and remember the best marketing ever. Remember why it's great. And that's where a 20% comes from, you know, in the different domains.
Do you think it's more important now that people study up on folks like Obvious Adams and David Ogilvy now? Because those will be the principles moving forward.
Yeah, I think David Ogilvy is amazing guy. Like I've loads of his books at home. I think incredible marketer. You know, like people say it's advertising. It was marketing really, like positioning and marketing. I think that these are the things that are like tried and tested, tried and true, you know, principles for life that kind of like persist because there's some objectivity to it. Like words, you know, words mean things. So use the words that you mean. You know, like if you look at Ogilvy's work, for example, he has principles from decades and decades ago talking about words mean things, use the words you mean, don't add bullshit words. You know, like these are things that are kind of tried and tested.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Paul. I'm a fractional CMO and a consumer marketer, so I guess I'm one of the jazzy guys.
You're the cool guys.
You're saying some confronting stuff, though, actually. It made me come out in hives when you're kind of saying you haven't really got a marketing plan, so I'd love to help with that. The way I kind of see it is you've got all these wonderful tools, right, but you need someone to conduct the orchestra. But the question I wanted to ask you was around, actually, I think I've interacted with Fin because I have been getting some support from Fin.io. And I thought it was just a guy called Fin. And so just with regard to your brand question, what could you do maybe to make me aware as a user that I've actually interacted with Fin rather than a guy called Fin?
Sorry, is that a bad thing, actually?
Do you guys call Fin?
No, but I think I don't know if this is a bad thing, actually. Like I know the question was directed at him, but I actually think like the fact that you were confused that it was an actual human, I think is amazing. Like it makes it. I feel like that means the product did a really good job.
I think yeah, I'm with you. What was more kind of if one of your challenges is the brand challenge between Intercom, who I've never heard of, and Fin.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity there for Veed to tell the story that Fin is actually an amazing AI agent powered by.
But Veed is not trying to do that. Veed's trying to help their customers, like learn how to solve their video problems. Their Fin's job and Intercom's job is just to help Veed do that, and they're not trying to. They shouldn't try to brand them. Like I would be annoyed as a customer of Intercom and Fin if you guys were like, oh, trying to make your brand prominent in our like experience, like that. They're just trying to make their customers successful, and that's it. And like. Yeah.
I think for me though it's and I'm kind of, by the way, on to the debate, right? No right answer, but I think the long term though I worry about the authenticity because yes, it's really cool that the standard of what was delivered was arguably human good.
Yeah.
But I don't love the fact that they hadn't told me it was AI.
Yeah, I mean, people can. Like Varun said, our goal is to give people configuration options, and like brand matters to people. I mean, you can hear like the passion that you have for your brand is amazing. You know, the whole thing, and people want their brand to represent the DNA of the company, who they are, how they, you know. So they want to rename it. They want to change how it looks, what it looks like, and awesome. All power to all of our customers. Like we have to give people that configurability, really important. And then separately, it's our problem to work out how else we can tell the world about Fin, you know.
I will just say on this question though, like the annoyance about not knowing it. So Munwar back there is on our support team, and like just yesterday, Munwar, I was reading some support tickets, and like and anyways, there was one ticket where someone was like, Fin responded. Actually, Fin did a good job at responding, but the response came 10 seconds or 15 seconds after the guy asked the question, and he immediately responded and was like, actually, Fin did a great job answering the question, but having read the answer...
You don't have to say it.
No, but it did. It did a great job, but that's my point here. Fin did a great job answering the question, but then the guy was like, oh, you responded within 15 seconds, so this has to be AI, and I'm frustrated, despite the question actually being thoroughly answered.
Yeah.
And so it is like a tricky little thing.
Yeah, I mean, people hold AI to way higher standards than they hold humans.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time, comparing, you know, human level performance to AI, and it's entirely different, like a huge delta. And you have to kind of educate and teach people to say, like, hey, Fin doing that is better than waiting on hold or waiting till tomorrow,
right,
or getting an email on Tuesday, you know, so. Yeah. Was there another question? Yeah.
I mean, Munwar is here at this event and not responding to the tickets, but Fin could be responding, you know, so.
Fin is responding. Fin works 24/7, doesn't take holidays.
Really
Thank you. My question is about something you said earlier about polish. Which thing in the company or things in the brand do you think require polish?
Like polish matters too. You know, it's not that we're throwing away like craft. You know, it's very like some things we will like really sweat the details on. I think it's more the kind of marketing that Varun is doing. Media has changed. You know, people watch for better and for worse. People watch 10-second videos all day long. And there's no time to polish any of that kind of stuff, you know. And so, like at the same time, Anthropic. I don't know if you've seen Anthropic's like TV ad. I think it's incredible. I think it's like I think in years to come we'll look back at that ad for Claude and say like it was remarkably good. And so it depends what kind of advertising you're trying to do. It depends what kind of marketing you're trying to do. But I think polish is overvalued. I think a lot of things in marketing are overvalued. I think a lot of the reason they're overvalued is because it's people's job to do them, right? So like you know, there's Des, our co-founder, has this kind of phrase: "Turkeys don't vote for Christmas," right? Which is like very apt this time of year. If you're turkey this time of year, like not good time to be a turkey, right? So like if it's someone's job to do something, they're going to fight against the removal of that thing, you know. And so it's not that polish isn't. I think in brand communication and in brand design, very important. We will sweat the details on our website, for example, high trafficked website. But like videos that people will forget tomorrow, all the temporary, fast paced stuff, get it out, scrappy, quick, or real people doing real things.
I have the question. It's a very sexy topic around marketing metrics. I think in marketing, almost more than any other function, there's so many metrics that you can pay attention to, from top of funnel LinkedIn impressions to more like bottom of funnel MQLs. But just curious, from all of this, what's kind of the main thing that you're paying attention to the most, and what is almost something that you're not paying attention to? It's almost like more of a vanity metric, let's say. Can imagine maybe it's a bit different for both of you. One maybe caring a bit more around brand or both, but just curious about that.
It's kind of funny. We actually I just posted a video with Garin about this exact topic around how we think that LTV to CAC is not exactly like a vanity metric, but certainly a very misleading metric, and something that a lot of marketers spend a lot of time obsessing over. And it's like, oh, if you're 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 or whatever, it's like that's like great and you're doing great. The issue, of course, with that type of metric is that it's very lagging, right? And like you're assuming things in the future that may not happen, right? I mean, just look at 2 years ago for Intercom. If you were using that LTV to CAC, you would have been screwed, because you wouldn't have never realized that 2 years later, Fin would have been a new business and AI would have changed everything, and so it's hard to predict. And so we instead look at like, you know, gross profit and like payback periods on a much shorter time horizon, because and looking at it very holistically, kind of across channels. So that's kind of how we think about it. But I think also we're also trying to take a broader kind of like cohort level view and kind of like see how the cohorts kind of expand and specifically on a channel by channel basis, like what's working and what isn't, and think about it that way.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, it's something we talk about quite a lot. For me, like what I'm doing in Intercom is quite disruptive. And meanwhile, our DG team have pipeline numbers to fulfill, and our sales team have pipeline numbers to fulfill. Like so the funnel is like heavily analyzed, and I have commitments on my side to that part of the marketing org and to the sales org, to the go-to-market function generally, commitments to the business to make sure that we're not being like, we've come kind of some kind of financial responsibility there. Having said that, the thing I'm trying to drive is mind share, and the number one way mind share spreads is word of mouth, and word of mouth, you can't measure it. You can pretend, but you can't measure it. I have no idea. You'll all leave here tonight. You may or may not talk about this event to people. I have no clue. Never
surprisingly
know.
Consistent. Like it represents a very consistent base in our top of funnel over the last 3 years, which is unexpected.
Yeah, with the way like that's really interesting. So how are you measuring that?
I mean, but people tell us like on the forums and stuff, like when they sign up for Clay.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. We like to try and ask a question more. Like we run a brand tracker survey. That's one way we try and measure mind share. We've a metric called net new visitors to Fin with intent. So that's basically like net new visitor to Fin website, never seen them before, and they've intent. They stick around. I think they've taken action. So click a second page, keep second page, something like that. So we do have metrics that we're tracking, but the metrics are proxies. And there's loads of stuff we would never do if we were trying to chase metrics. And I don't think this is the time for optimization. Like for a lot of people, the last decade was really stable technology, companies were stable, everyone's company looked the same internally. And a lot of people's careers started in this very stable world. If you're young in your career, a few years in, like the world is very stable. And now it's very unstable. It's entirely unclear what's happening in the future. It's entirely unclear what success will look like. It's entirely unclear what new AI models will do next year, never mind the year after and the year after that. And so I think a lot of people have a lot of discomfort in this like lack of stability. And metrics is kind of like safe. Metrics is like stable, safe, the same, you know. And it's really important, I think, that people like have their, you know, responsibilities to the business to meet numbers. But a lot of the things you should do will not be measurable.
I was getting the signal in the back that we're unfortunately out of time.
Oh yeah,
but
okay, no worries.
Yeah, just wanted to thank you guys for hosting us, and
likewise,
and really appreciate all of you for taking the time on your evening to come join us. And I hope you found this constructive and fun, like I did. And yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, likewise.